Alexanne has 6 bustle points. We have 2 different ways that we're doing this. I'm going to start with an under bustle that is going to be in the innermost layer. So if I lift this up, we're going to see a few things kind of going on here. I'm actually going to hold this, have Alex, is it Alexanne or Alex?
Either or.
Listen, I just
Alex.
like saying this weird. We'll call her Alex. Yes. There we go. I can do that. So we do have all of this extra stuff. So right here on the outer, just under the lace, we're going to see these small little things. We're going to pull those out later, so ignore them for now, but those are hanging and we will need to look for them. There's also a little button here, which is a bustle point. And there are going to be 2 more of those up lower. So there are a couple things in here that I'll show you how to find later, but it's nice to see them now. So we're going to actually start with this lining layer, and I'm going to pick up that back center, and the first thing that we come to is a little pink ribbon with a plastic loop. We are going to find a pink ribbon farther up, closer to the bride. Now, it is next to her skin, so don't just lift this up. That will not be nice for anybody. But this is a little bit closer to her knees, so I'm going to go ahead and grab this. And I like to bring it to the side. This layer is pretty stretchy, but it is attached right here next to her booty. So again, I'm not just lifting this up like crazy. So there's where it is attached. So I'm gonna go back here and grab this loop, and I'm gonna take one of those strings. If you have 2 people, this is a little easier, but you can do this by yourself. So I'm just gonna put that ribbon through the loop, and then we're going to bring it all the way to the center of these 2 ribbons. And I'm just going to tie this into a bow. None of these bustle points need a knot. The ribbons are all grippy. So just tie this into a bow like you're tying your shoelaces, and that gets that layer up off the ground. Thank you. So what I think I'll probably do next is the side points, and we'll leave this lace for last. So we're going to come directly here to the side seam of her dress. And at the bottom, there's a little white ribbon with that loop, and it's tying the same way. So again, just go ahead and put this up. Same way, tie that into a bow. We'll do the same thing on the left side here in a second. That just gets that to the ground length. So same thing over here, side seam, there's our loop near the end. There are our strings. They're kind of slippery. And tie that into a bow. All right. So we've got all of the side bustles and that under bustle done. So now we just have this lace that we really need to bring up. There's a lot of it. So we have 3 points here. There's going to be 1 bustle point in the lace that comes up here to the center, and then there's 1 on each side. The side points I will show you how to do first. You can see that there are these little clear beads that are hanging out on the outside of the dress. If I gently pull up on that bead and push back on the fabric, it's literally a tiny loop, okay? Same thing on the other side, we just have a small little loop right there. That's the upper part of it. Now, we showed you those strings that were hanging on the inside, so we're gonna pull that out now. What I like to do is find where it's coming through that fabric, and I'm just gonna hold that area. And if I bring it out here, there are these little ribbon knots right there. They're attached to the fabric, so if you can't find them, just go to the back and see right where it's coming through. They are the only ribbon knots that are right there. So these come right out, that button hits the back side, so it's nice and strong. So I'm just gonna take one of these little knots, try not to like kneel on the fabric, and I'm gonna put it through that loop. I'm gonna hold that fabric up because it's gonna wanna fall. If you have another person, that would help. But I'm gonna put this little knot through that loop. And then we're going to, just like those under ones, we're going to pretend that's that plastic one. We want that to come all the way up in between these ribbons. And tie it like you tie your shoes, or tie a knot, it's fine. Here we go. There we go. And then just tie that into a little bow here. Get that nice. I try to make these loops and strings about the same length so you can adjust it if you need to. And I'll show you how to hide those in a minute because they will inevitably kind of poke out, but we can hide them for pictures. So doing the same thing on the other side, just looking under, finding that ribbon, going to the outside, there are those little knots, same thing. There we go. And then bring that all the way up and tie it into a bow.
I think if we brought Nana in to help you with this and get pictures.
So there's that. Then our last point is kind of opposite. We have the loop in the train and we have strings up here. I could hide the strings behind one of these buttons. So if you go to the very bottom of the zipper and you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 buttons down, there are 2 little knots there that we pull all the way out. And then this one, I'm gonna look down the center seam until I find that button with that ribbon on there. That takes me to the outside. There's that little clear bead. And we're gonna bring this one up. None of these bustles have to be brought down for her to get out of the dress. So once this is bustled up, you're good. This usually stays up at that point. So what I am gonna kind of show you is how to hide these ribbons a little bit, and then I'll show you how to fluff this. As she's walking, dancing, and moving, just like when the train's down, it's gonna do whatever it wants. If you're gonna have a picture that displays this, you have to go back and tuck everything and make sure everything's nice. What I like to do is twist these ribbons up nice and tight here for like an inch or so. And then I'm going to open that loop with my finger that we just tied up and then push those ribbons through and pull them to the back. I'll also give you a crochet hook. If that's easier than trying to push through, you can just pull them backwards and then it hangs down. It's a lot easier for pictures to kind of keep them there. These things, you'll do the exact same thing, twist up and push back. And then for pictures, we're just gonna grab this back center and bring that forward so that lace is just kind of displaying. We want those buttons coming all the way down. And that is her 6-point bustle.